Hi guys. So this week wasn't a profitable week for me. It was a break-even week, which means I didn't make profit. I didn't take any loss. Not that I didn't take any loss anyways, but at the end of the week, there was no profit on the account, just break even. So I took a total of three trades because when I'm trading, I'm risking 2% on my account and I'm taking just one trade a day. So either I win that day or I lose that day, or if by the close of the day the market has not hit my TP or my stop loss, then I close it wherever the market is at the close of market. So that's the way I go about it. So without wasting much time, I'll just go into the charts and we'll see the trades I took. I took a total of three trades this week. I won one and I lost two. I typically run for 2 to 1. So depending on how the day goes, if it completes the 2 to 1, fine. But if it doesn't complete the 2 to 1, then I still accept whatever the market gives to me, whether I profit or a loss. So with that said, I'll just load up the chart and we see what um what my trading activity for this week was like. So first of all, the way I like to pick my direction, I like to use trend lines and channels. That's basically what I like to use. So the way I pick my direction is I first of all shrink the chart on 15 minutes time frame. I shrink the chart to the tiniest. Like that is easier for me to see the trends on the chart. And then now you can already see that from this low right here, the market went and took out this previous swing high right here. And the moment it did that, it confirmed a change of direction from this downtrend to a new uptrend. So all you just have to do is find entries every day, um, following that bullish trend that we've already seen the market create. So that's why I trade. And the moment um, when the market created this high, came back down to this area, I knew that this area is supposed to hold as support. Then from that area, the price made another push up into all these areas here, and then the price started pulling down. Although I would have expected that the market will pull down to this area, but the market instead pulled down to this psychological level, and that's part of the reasons why I like using psychological levels because the price can either pull down to support, resistance, or psychological levels. And sometimes, in fact, most times, psychological levels always act as either support or resistance in the market. So the price instead pulled down to this psychological level, and from there it made a new high, which was higher than this previous high. Then from that, what I expected next was a pullback, which the market did, pulling back into this area right here, which you can see that psychological level area was acting as resistance at this point. Then after it broke above, it held as support, which is what I just talked about. So from there, I expected the price to make another high that should be higher than this high to continue that uptrend, of which the market actually did that. Then along the line, the market went and broke this previous area of support in the market. And after a break of support, you expect support to hold as resistance. But along the line, you see that the market also ranged around this point here, which means that area can also be an area of interest in the market. So this is basically the way I analyze the market. So the price could also pull back here like it did and then move down. And then you see that it created a new, from here, from this high, which is a higher high, it's created a lower low, then created a lower high. Then from a lower high, it created a higher low and then a higher high. So after higher high, you would expect higher low. Then from higher low, you would expect another higher high. So that's basically how I view the market every day. So back to the trades I took this week. So the first trade I took this week, this was Monday, right? Yes, this was Monday. So the reason why I took this trade was because first of all, this channel you see here was cutting from this low through this low, and then it met with this low right here. So with that, I like to take my trade from psychological levels or support or resistance or um, channel or trend line support or resistance. Those are the areas I like taking trade from. And as at that time, the channel was cutting like this. So this entry right here that I took was exactly on this. It was exactly on that trend line support. So I took it for a 2 to 1, and that one played out just fine. Then on Tuesday, after the price had done all this movement, Monday, I came back. By that time, it had broken this trend line channel support. And after breaking that channel support, as long as it had not taken out these lows, I expected continuation upwards. And that was exactly what the market did at this point right here. So I was supposed to take my trade from somewhere around here, but I was concerned about this unemployment rate event that um, pound had. So because of that, I decided to wait, and you can see how the price just moved up, came down, and did nothing. Then the next place I would have been able to take entry would have been after a break of that high right there, which would have meant my entry would have looked something like this on Tuesday, something like this. And mind you, the United States had NFP around the corner, so I had to be careful about that also. So after this entry, I did not want to take it because I felt using over 30 pips did not make sense. So I limited it to something like this, which is the wick of this candle here, expecting that it could bounce from there. I knew that it could bounce from there, so I was going to put my entry there. But after I calculated my stop loss again, that was still about 29 pips, and I felt it was too much. So I was hoping for a deeper pullback, probably into somewhere around there where I could get like 20 pips or 22 pips stop loss and aim for 40, 44 pips. And can see what happened. The market just kept on moving, and I would have actually taken my 2 to 1 before NFP if I had taken my trade from that week entry, like I said earlier. But I didn't take this trade because it did not pull deeper enough. But what you can see is that the price ended up breaking above this area. And after breaking above that area, the next thing that you would expect is that if the price pulls into this area, I'd want to take another long trade. So by the time the price was pulling into all these areas, it was already late in the day and I wasn't trading anymore. Then the next morning, the price was trading somewhere around here, which I was having a bullish bias to buy, but I didn't get a reason to take a buy trade from there. Instead, the price just ran all the way down, and I think that's partly because pound also had this inflation rate event, and that just propelled the price all the way down, taking out this previous lows here and changing from creating increasing higher highs to creating a new lower low, which means there could be change in the direction according to the way I trade. So I expected a pullback to this area for entry, but the price just kept climbing without giving me a reason to take a trade. And by the time the price got to this area, it was already late in the day. So I decided not to take any trade again, and that's how the day closed on Wednesday. So on Thursday, I was still having a bearish bias because by the time this started, the price was around there, but there was no trend line, there was no psychological level, which means I couldn't take a trade. Then by the time the price was getting down to the psychological level where I would have been looking to take a sell trade, there was pound interest rate event and US CPI or inflation rate event. So during this event, I typically like to stay out of the market and just allow it to play out. In fact, during any economic event, if I'm not already in the trade, depending on the economic event, I always like to just sit out and allow it to pass before I take a trade. And that was what I did, and you can see it just pushed the price all the way back up, of which obviously I'm not going to take an entry from somewhere around here with this kind of large stop loss. With a stop loss that would have been as large as something like this. I'm not going to take a trade with something like that. Understand? So that's why I did not take that trade there. Then the price went ahead and created what? The higher high. So this was um lower low, lower high, higher low, then higher high, right? So you would expect that when the price is pulling down, you are expecting to go long to continue that new uptrend. But it's also important to note that there was this resistance, and I saw it, but I wasn't really going above the resistance, so it didn't really matter to me. And I took my Thursday trade from here, but I feel like I rushed into this one, and that's the reason why I lost it. But no qualms, I ended up losing that trade on Thursday. Then on Friday, I was quite patient, waiting for the setup, but I somehow forgot that this retail sale event was around the corner, and I took my trade exactly 8 o'clock. That was the time for the retail trade, for the retail sales event on pound, and just ended up spoiling the whole trade. It gave me a bad entry, and just went straight to my stop loss. So I lost that one. And after losing the trade, I just stayed out of the market. Can see that it wasn't even about the trade. Even if I had entered it anywhere else, I most likely might have lost it, or I would not have made profit from it at all. Because you can see how the day just behaved. It just didn't really do anything at all. If I go to the daily time frame now, you see what Friday looked like. So this is the daily time frame now. You can see what Friday looked like. See it, just a very small candle. So it didn't really do anything. In fact, the last few days they didn't really do anything on pound USD. So I just lost that trade today, and I just stayed out of the market, which means tomorrow, on Monday, I go again. But I don't really know how next week trading is going to be, because we are going into Christmas week, and Christmas week market might not be stable. So we will see how it goes anyways. Next week, I'm going to make a decision whether to trade or not. So basically, that was how this week went. I took a total of 3 trades. I won one, I lost two, and I run for 2 to 1 typically, which means at the end of the week, I did not take any profit. I did not close the week with profit or with loss, which in my opinion is okay. And also, I was risking 4%. So let's even assume that I took that trade on Tuesday. If I had taken that trade on Tuesday, I'd have passed my phase one on Tuesday, which means I'd have been in phase two right now. And I've lost on Thursday and on Friday, which means I would have been down 4%. Now I'm trading a Stellar Light account on funded next, which gives me just about 8% total drawdown. And I decided to risk 2% because challenge phase is not what you want to be wasting time on. So anyways, we are going to see how it goes. If I don't trade next week, then it will be till next year. And that's going to be all for this video. If you are not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to the channel. Join me, document my journey as I'm trading. It's just a documentary. I'm not really a trade advice or anything. I'm just documenting my journey. So that's going to be all for now. Subscribe, click on the bell notification to turn it on, and we are going to see you in the next video. Do have a lovely weekend, and bye.